Her Guys video podcast. I'm your host, Steph, also known as the Knitting Samurai, and this is episode 134. You can find the podcast in iTunes, on YouTube, or on the WordPress blog by the same name as the show. If you were watching it on the Blogspot blog, I'm not going to be updating that anymore, so switch on over to the WordPress blog and watch it over there if you'd like. So that's administrative stuff. It is August 13th, 12th, 13th, and it's been way too long since we spoke. I know I said I wasn't going to talk to you until the blanket was finished, the barn raising quilt that I've been working on, and it is in fact finished. Yay! But it's been a really crazy week. A week at work and at home, and I haven't been able to squeeze in some time for us to sit together. You and work were competing for my lunches, and work had to win. So, and I actually have my big presentation that I've been prepping for in a couple hours. So, nothing like a little presentation stress to get you amped up. I don't know, but you didn't come here to hear about my social anxiety. So let's talk about the knitting, which I think is what you did come here to hear about. The Barn Raising Quilt is by Shelly Mackey and Larissa Brown. I knit mine on US size 2s, 2.75 millimeter needles. I used 4 different yarns. Notes in the show on the, if you want details on the yarn, you can find it in the, oh, it kind of matched the blanket in the show notes on the blog or on my project page over on Ravelry. The main color, the reason for this blanket's existence is the opal self-striping yarn, and then the others were all selected to match that. You can see there are a lot of ends flopping around here. Here's the back of the blanket in case you were curious. So I did 30 squares. It is 6 by 5 are the dimensions, and each square is 9 inches square. So 9 inches by 9 inches. So let me just tell you about how I handled finishing the blanket, because I thought it would be a very daunting task, and blocking was not my favorite thing to do, but I was pleasantly surprised that I did enjoy the seaming of it, and it's made me say, oh great, I had 2 or 3 more blankets in mind, and I'm definitely gonna make them now that I've finished this. So it was a good experience for me. I blocked the squares out to 9 by 9, as I said, so there were 30 of them to soak. I soaked them in Celebration scent of soap wash. I blocked them out, loved it. When they were finished, I stacked them up. There are 2 different shades of this teal color. Well, it's not that teal. The 2 different teal colors that are in this blanket. There's one of them. One's Cherry Tree Hill, and the other one is Plymouth Happy Bee. So I separated those out. I wanted to make sure that the greens that were the same ended up together. So those 3 on this axis, there are 4 of those. And then the other 6, I put the greens in the corners. That's how I made that selection. And as you can see, the colors flow on the diagonal. I started mattress stitching 2 squares together. And in the past, when I've seamed blankets, I've done strips. So the little short seams of each square, and then long seams of the sides, right? You can picture this, right? Short seams, and then long ones of each strip. This time I took a more organic approach. So I started with 1 square, I seamed another one to it, I seamed the next one, I seamed one down here, over here. It was a mishmash of squares, and I just had my picture of how I had laid them out, and I made sure I matched flowing along. And actually, as they were drying, I was working them in. So I think the opals, I ended up adjusting a little bit because I wanted to make sure that, like, this one has a yellow center and that one has a big teal center. That one has a green. I wanted to space out those so that the ones with the blue center didn't all end up in one corner. But so that was what I was aware of as I was seaming. So I mattress stitched them together, pulled it, zipped them up. I love mattress stitch. It's awesome. And the fact that I did it in this weird organic construction, there were points where, like, if you picture a Z or like there. I just made these fun different shapes as I was seaming with it, not shapes, but different patterns, trails of the seaming mattress, and that made it more interesting and more fun to me than doing just straight lines and short segments. And plus a few less ends to weave in too, as those as I'd go with like a 3-foot section of yarn and use as much of that as I possibly could. So it challenged my brain to figure out how I could do that, like what shape, you know, do I do 3 sides of a square? Anyway, you don't want to hear all about that, but it was a fun way to seam. It was different than I've ever done it before, even though it was the same technique. It was a different way of thinking about the seaming itself. So I did that, and then once that was done, I picked up 1 for 1 around the edge and pulled out one of the yarns that I had initially rejected as belonging in the blanket. And I'm showing you my first edge. I did edgings, right? I did an applied I-cord edging after the fact. And the first one I was knitting 3, slipping them back, knitting 2 together, and then knitting the 3, slipping them back, 2 together, right? Applied I-cord edging, that's how you do it if you don't know how. So I was doing that, and as I worked through it, I didn't like, because you can see this hasn't been blocked since finishing, it rolls forward, right? That edge is just tipped forward a lot more than I would like, and it's a little bit messy looking. I hope you could see that on the edge. Now, I was probably 4 squares finished when I realized that I didn't like the way that looked, and I wasn't gonna go back. So mid-process, oh, that's not edge, I just started going the other way. So I changed my technique. Instead of doing a knit 2 together at the beginning, I started doing slip, slip, knit, and that made, it still rolls a little bit, but it rolls a lot less. I'm pulling on it so you're not getting the full effect of when it's laying flat. It rolls forward a lot less, and it made a much smoother edge. It really let the I-cord shine. It pushed those decreased stitches to the back rather than the knit 2, which had them laying on the front. So when that was done, let's see, I started my edging right here. So I didn't start at the exact end. I started a little bit in on the corner stitches. I knit 1 round. I picked up and I knit 1 round. And on the corners, I increased 2 stitches on each corner. So picked up all my stitches, did my I-cord bind off, got to the end, bound off. I set myself a goal of working the I-cord on just 3 squares a day, 3 edges, not so, you know, 3 squares a day. And when that was done, I put it aside. So it became my first project priority of every day was get those done. And then once those were done, I went and knit on something more fun that I wanted, so that I didn't get the burnout fatigue that I was worried about getting from doing something so boring as an I-cord. But yeah, it turned out great. I love it. I need to block it and weave in these ends. I finished it on the 10th, August 10th, so I definitely made it through Stash Dash. It used 2,186 yards, which brought my Stash Dash total to 6,267 yards. Yay, I won it, Stash Dash. But I'm thrilled with this. It's in the 80s here right now, so it's too soon for Tristan to need this anyways. And I think if I hadn't been pushed by Stash Dash to finish this, I definitely wouldn't have. So I'm really glad to have this completed off my needles, yay! So, and when I finished this one, I went straight into knitting squares on the one that I'm knitting for me. That's eclectic, that's leftovers. It's my scrap one. So here's the, I have a rule that I only show my barn raising quilt squares when I have 4 completed. So let's run through these real quick. So this one, you will recognize it if you've been watching in the last month. This is Scrumptious Pearl in her Berrylicious colorway. I knit myself a pair of socks and then immediately used what was left for the square. And there's nothing left, it's gone. This is some Knit Picks Felici in the Goth colorway. I knit a newborn vertebrae and a matching hat with this. So there's that square. This is some Patton's Croy in the Sock Effects colorway. I think it's called Cascade Colors. I knit Steve these socks 2 months back, and yeah, because they were a Father's Day gift. Yes, So I knit them for him for Father's Day. And if you remember, I thought I was running out. I didn't realize I had a third skein, partial skein hidden away. And I came across it the other day. And for Steve's socks, the second one is 4 rounds shorter than the first one because I thought I was running out and I needed to just use what I had. And so when I found the skein, I was like, oh, well, I'm not going back and changing those socks, but I can knit a square. So I did. So there's that. And then the last one is, it's an opal yarn. These are the ones I knit for Amy Loris. So there's my square to go with those, her Narnia socks. So those 4, so for my eclectic barn raising quilt, I have 44 squares finished and I'm shooting for 77 and I'm giving myself 3 years to complete that project. My guess is I'm gonna be a lot faster. When I finished seaming, Steve looked at me and I was so excited and I had so much fun knitting the blanket squares. Knitting the squares, sewing it up, all around it was a great project. And he looked at me and he said, when did you become a blanket knitter, not a sock knitter? And I went, huh, interesting thought. I have, hadn't made that connection in my head yet, but definitely would rather knit a blanket square than a pair of socks at this point. So then, what else do I have to show you? In this bag, is not something I'm showing you now, I'll show you in a minute, but in his fraternal twin is my Easy by Martina Bem, and I know I put some pictures on Instagram and you love it or you hate it, I guess. But I love the Easy pattern by Martina Bem. This is a shawl I am using. California Carnival is the yarn. It's a self-striping yarn. Colorway is called Spring Jeans, and what size needles? 3 US 3s, 3.25 millimeter needles. So I've started working in the opposite direction. I'm in the middle of the row here, but it's going along really nice. I think I told you last time I had made a mistake as to the side, the directionality of it, but I'm letting it go, I'm running with it. And as you can see, my stripes started off pretty big. And as you add more stitches, they're getting more muddled and less delineated, smaller stripes. So I've started striping in the navy that I have a bunch of in the coordinating heels and toes that goes with it. So starting to work the navy, I have about 25 stitches left to incorporate into this direction. So that's about 50 rows. So should be done by next time. Definitely we'll have it done for the Around Your Neck cowl that Suburban Stitcher is hosting. So excited to be working on that. This has been my travel along. It's also replaced socks because it's a very mindless project. So I could easily knit a third, but I think I'm gonna give it a little time before I cast on for that. The other thing that's on my needles that is like, whoa, this is crazy, 2 shawls. 2 shawls. This is like Stephanie 2010 because Stephanie 2010 knit a lot of shawls, but Stephanie now doesn't really. I will give a shout out to Knit One Heart 2. They are doing their prayer shawl collection contest, I guess. It's not really a contest, but incentive. So they collect gently used or brand new shawls. Details on their podcast and on their blog and their Ravelry group about what to do. But I will be sending, last summer I think I sent 4 or 5 shawls to Webb's, to Lee's that collects them, and I'll be sending another 3 or 4 at least this year. It's a great way to use, not to use up, but to give your shawls that you no longer love a new home. That's how I think about it. And this isn't really a shawl. It's a cowl shawl. It's a shawl. But this is my notes are all out of order. They're in a different font. I'm having a really hard time. This is the Luna Veritas cowl by Hilary Smith Callis. And I'm using Three Waters Farms Honky Tonk, which is for the Knit Girls Knit Along. Supposed to be done by the end of the month. I will definitely be done. There are 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 6 sections where you do this different, it looks like a crescent moon pattern. So there are 6 portions where you do that, and I've completed 3.5. So Granted, the cowl does get bigger as it goes down, but I would say I'm at least a third, if not a half of the way done. And now that the blanket's off my needles and work has calmed down, or is about to calm down after today, fingers crossed, I will be able to take my lunch and sit and think about this and not be so brain dead at night that I can't even think about doing even simple lace. So, but let's see. Can you see the patterning? I don't know, but it looks really nice. As I said last time, this yarn is so soft. I absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. Makes me glad when I did the pre-order, or when I bought this skein, I also bought a second skein just because it's so soft. The stitching, the details are a little bit lost in the high variegation of the yarn, but I'm okay with that because really I'm just knitting it because I want a cowl and I like the colors, not because I was so drawn to the stitch pattern, if that makes sense. So, and these are, did I say it, on US 6s, 4mm needles. So there's that. And then I have one last project, and it's a new one. And I actually was setting up my project page on Rav and had a little heart attack that I couldn't find the yarn in my stash. Like opal, self-striping, where is it? Where is it? I couldn't find it. Anyway, I sliced and diced it and searched for it. I wasn't bringing it up. How did I eventually find it? I don't remember. I don't remember. I know I had to read the label for the color, which is something in German that I cannot pronounce. Glucksbringer, which translates to Lucky Charm, color 8120. And I think I searched for that instead of searching by the word opal to find it in my stash. But here it is. It's a yarn that my parents got for me for Christmas. I had asked my mom to go pick up some opal colors, and I realized that one of them, no, I didn't use the other one for, the year before the ones she gave me, I knit a pair of socks for myself and a pair of socks for one of Steve's aunts. And this year I'm knitting myself a pair of Frankenfingers by Elizabeth Green Musselman for myself. And so I need to make sure to use that other skein to knit her a pair of socks, because that's always how I couch it. Like, give me yarn for Christmas and I'll knit you a pair of socks with it. Like, pick out something you like, because it's not like I need any more yarn, but it's nice for her to pick out what she would like. So that's how we do it. Anyways, but these are gonna be for me. Steve helped me, and I had a whole bunch of self-striping skeins. And after washing this up, so here's my thinking. After washing this up and feeling how soft the 100% merinos or the 80-20 merino nylons from Indie Dyers are compared to the opal 75-25 wool polyamide or wool nylon that they sell. They feel differently when you're knitting them. The opal definitely has more grab, it's more crunchy. You know those socks wear and last forever. The Indie Dyers, maybe not, maybe they do. It depends on how you knit them. But typically for gloves, necks, hats, I would want the softer yarn. But I decided that with the soak wash, the opal feels perfectly soft enough. I actually was walking around with it on the inside of my arm to see how I would feel about having a pair of mittens on, and I think it will be great because I really wanted a self-striping, more muted, less loud, and all of my Indie Dyer self-striping yarns are crazy colors because that's what I want to knit. For my feet, that's fine. For my hands, for something I'm going to wear this fall, I wanted something a little more muted. Now, is this diluted rainbow that muted? No, not really, now that I look at it, but I picked out a bunch of my opal yarns, laid them out, said, okay, I have a navy blue jacket. That's what I have, a navy blue jacket and a gray jacket. I went to the closet and looked because I couldn't remember. And I have a purple one that I think is going to fit me this year, a long wool, what are those called? I don't know, a long wool jacket, dress coat thing. Anyways, but I think that this color will go really well with the navy. It's what I was shooting for. So cast these on. I can't wait. The pattern is by Elizabeth Green Musselman, and if you've seen it, I know you've seen it, it's hot. It is a pay-for pattern though. So it has these long mitts, and then each finger is a different color based on the stripes of your yarn, or however your yarn stripes itself up. So I'm excited to do that. I know that there are big sections of the blue. So if I wanted to do every finger blue, I could, but there are different shades of yellow and green too. So that it's gonna be really fun. Just trust me. I don't think I'm gonna end up with a red finger though, because the red stripe isn't very big. But Yeah, so this is what's exciting me right now. Knit on US 1.5, 2.5 millimeter needles. And again, this is a substitution for a sock. I mean, easy, mindless knitting. So having a lot of fun with it. Let's see, what else? I think that's all I have to say. Yeah, you can find me over on Instagram if you want to be friends and see pictures of my children and my husband and my knitting, because that's mainly what I post. I post a lot about whatever we're doing, just because I'm proud mama. I'm looking for something and I'm looking in every bag but the one I want. There we go, here I am. Okay, so yeah, I think that's it, right? I'm pulling out yarn to settle in and talk. Do I have any boy stories to tell you? B. What's the next letter? L. U. Make the U. And an E. Let's see it. Woo! Some great work. Not too much going on. Roland's birthday is coming fast and furiously. So since I last spoke to you, I mailed out the invitations. They were super cute. We're going to an indoor bouncing jump house. So they have those inflatables. They probably have 6 or 8 of these giant structures, castles, and I don't know, mazes and all these things, but they're all inside. And so it's nice and air conditioned, and there's a room that they have for parties that's off to the side. So you rent the place out for an hour, a group of kids go run and play. Then you have like 30 minutes to do cake and whatever else in the party room. And then you give them their goodie bags and send them on their way. So I thought that would be a very effective use of 2 hours so we could invite all of his friends from school and not school friends. And I wouldn't have to go crazy cleaning trying to get everybody into my little condo. So this way we can go and he's gonna have fun. He is so excited. The kids at school are so excited. 2 of the girls chased me down the hallway the other day when they saw me and said, Roland's birthday, we're coming. I was like, great, tell your moms to tell me, girls. But yeah, so, and he is all about what he can have, and you know, I've started him with a list on Amazon because he's kind of driving me a little nuts about, it's my birthday, I want this, I want that. So we had fun laying on the couch together scrolling through what was on Amazon for Jake the Neverland Pirates. That's his thing right now. So looking for what we could find that he would think was fun and putting that in. So he has a shopping list, which is good. That's always a helpful thing. So I think what I'm down to is picking up balloons that morning, and I need to order the cake, but otherwise I'm good to go. I ordered a bunch of stuff from Oriental Trading Company. I think you probably get the catalogs too. It's like $1 goodie, cheap stuff, you know. Some of it's more expensive than that for sure, but you can get a lot of bang for your buck with themed goodies. So we're gonna put together some pirate loot bags. But I think after seeing how excited he was about the whole birthday, talking about the party, because I want to make sure I'm doing something he wants to do. I mean, we're doing this for him. He asked last year to have a big party with his friends after we had a small family birthday party. So, okay, we'll have a big party, but I want to make sure he likes it. So talking through the big party had just got him so excited that we're gonna wait, and I'm gonna have him help me put the goodie bags together probably the night before or the day before the party, just so he doesn't go crazy and he doesn't tell his friends what he's giving them. So can I tell you something? This is so Stephanie to just be ridiculously nervous about this. I worry about everything, right? The party is Saturday the 29th, I think, and I put on the RSVP by the 23rd. It's not the 23rd, okay, by any means, but the night that we gave out the invitations, Ro has 2 best friends. One of them, his mom, got in touch right away. It was like, oh my God, we're so excited, can't wait to be there. I haven't heard from the other one yet, and I'm getting nervous. Parker better come. I might have to call his mom and be like, are you free? I should have checked the date with you before. You're important. I'm sure it will be fine. And there are plenty of other kids that are gonna come, and he probably won't even notice. And it's even shorter than Christmas. Christmas is like a whole day of activity, well, a couple days. And this is gonna be like 2 hours and over, so I have to prep myself for his, because I know he's gonna have that, like, the high that you get when there's a big social event, and then the like, oh, it's over. So, but we'll make the morning fun, getting the balloons and all that stuff. So that's been my big thing with him. Yeah, talking to realtors, starting to think about selling the condo, making appointments and stuff like that. Still going on slowly though, not in a real big hurry. Yeah, new skylight is being put in on Monday in our upstairs bathroom, so that'll be great. Steve's staying home. I have to remind him to lock the cats in a room because I know they're going to be scared by all the hammering. But okay, I think I am just rambling at this point, so I'm going to leave you there and say enjoy the next 10 days or so. Probably less because I feel like it's been too long. We can't go this long again. So I'll catch you next Friday. Take care and happy knitting!